Hey, what's up, Ballsville? This is El Presidente Westlex coming to you early before the Thursday night kickoff game to start week two. We're going to go over a little all Ballsville recap for week one. We have an update for you, which is going to be the meat and potatoes of the show. We have a little incident Discord to talk about. We'll make that brief. And we have a recap of how week one went. But first, I wanted to give a shout out to our friend Jimbo from the Tuesday night show. We got to see his son Kyle again. We got to meet Jay, who was great on camera, and our new friend Bryce. That was a great show live on the waiver wire. Hopefully, you caught that. And then on the soundboard, we got to meet Life's a Beach 420, which is Tanner, who we've had in our midst for a good while. Him and I have bumped heads for over like the last 3 years, and then kind of been in each other's leagues for the last year or so. But it was nice to see Tanner. Thanks for being on. Thanks everybody for bringing your expertise to Ballsville and enjoying our platform and offering something to our community. That's what we're all about. Great shows. Another thing we want to do before we go any further, we had our first winners of the point season. If you guys remember, if you haven't been here, we had a bunch of winners in the off season. We had $1,133 worth of free entries that were won by our players because we constantly have all these little things during the off season. For those of you that are along for the ride, we like to give back and offer a lot of freebies, whether they come in form of raffles or in this case little mini games where you put together a 4-person roster, and based off of their performance, you score points. And out of about 18 entries, the first mini game winner of 2025 is Mr. Todd Barber, TB76. I imagine this is going to be a wildly successful year for Mr. Todd Barber. You may notice him around. He's probably the guy that's sniping you in your drafts, and his team looks pretty dominant right now. He's got a lot of things going his way. We'll get to that in a minute. Our second minigame winner is Mr. Nick Oswald, Tennessee Nick, one of our newer friends, one of our more dedicated friends. Congratulations to both of you guys. We appreciate you. So thanks for playing. These mini games were kind of held in secret. These were for people that were watching the podcast during the off season when there was no promotion, there was no advertised free entry giveaway. These people were still coming to show their support and hang out with us on Wednesday nights during the off season. And we had little keywords. You give us the keyword in our DM, and we bring you into the lobby. You play the game. Great odds to win. Both of these guys are going to have a $20 payout assigned to them to end the year. It's not much, but hey, after week one, it's pretty cool to come away with 2 winners right off the bat. So, welcome in, everybody. A lot of you, coming from the hub and from Discord, that's usually where I post these links. But if you have people that want to come check out the shows, any one of our shows, feel free to invite friends. Let them come hang. Maybe they're not in the league this year, but who's to say they won't like what they see and come join next year? And it's best for them to see how the scoring process goes. If that way they know what they're getting into. So what's up to Chris? What's up to Sarah? Jimbo, sniping the pod as always. Ethan, our winner, he's mentioning Tennessee Nick. He doesn't go by Nick Oswald, just Tennessee Nick. Sure, okay. But I use this government name. My apologies, Nick. Fantasy Rec Leaguer. That's a pretty cool name. We're gonna have to talk more about that and see what that's all about. We like to help anybody who wants to, make a name in our little world here. So before we get into the heart of the episode, I want to talk about a little incident we had in Discord. We had a player get banned. This player was asked multiple times to kind of just change the subject. He was a broken record bringing up politics into the Discord, and it's something that we don't really allow. We have our code of conduct. It protects our players against any kind of harassment, whether it's direct or indirect, whether it's about sexuality, religious beliefs, politics, anything that we find disgusting and vile. We kind of try to put a stop to it. We're respectful. nobody should feel like a victim, like they're being harassed, and nobody should be singled out as a perpetrator who's doing the harassment. We kind of keep it general and let everybody know this is our code of conduct. And then beyond that point, this person wants to continue to push the envelope and be edgy. And everybody has opinions. You guys can save that for X, save it for Facebook. We really don't want that here. We're here to talk about football. We're here to talk about, the stuff that we all love. This is what we want to get away from all that, right? You can turn on Facebook and get caught up in that real easy. But when you come over here to our Discord, when you come into our sleeper leagues, we just want better for our players. We will offer you the same thing, the same courtesy. No one's going to step on your beliefs as long as you're not stepping on their beliefs. And even if you do, we're going to intervene. That's kind of why we're here. Every league has, 6 set of eyes. Myself and 2 managers are usually in every league, especially every managing league during the season. So we won't stay too brief on that, but there is a code of conduct. It was shared in Discord. And thank you to all of you that have something to say and you hold yourself back out of respect for your fellow players. So that's all we ask you to do. Thank you. What I wanted to go over is a recap in week 1 of the NFL, because it was a pretty wild week. We're not going to get too deep in the weeds with it, seeing as how it's just me and there's nobody to banter off of. That'll change. You guys are welcome to join me. But I want to give you the top 5 quarterbacks from week 1. Coming in at first with a ridiculous score of 42 is Josh Allen, based off of our scoring. 9 points down, you have Justin Herbert at 33 points. And then, just as we all predicted, in the number 3 spot is Aaron Rodgers. And 4 is Lamar Jackson. And number 5 is Justin Fields. So one thing cool about this is that with our friend Sticky and all the stuff that he does, this isn't on the website, but we do have as managers, we have access to ADP boards. This is something that's going to be embedded on our website for those of you who are going to be participating in our Patreon. It's going to be a small, we're thinking $6 donation for the people that want to access the tools all year. You'll have access to, this is actual Ballsville ADP. On the left, you can see it's all quarterbacks for both of these, but on the left is our mini leagues, which is our first game to draft 12-team rosters. Superflex, same format, same point scoring as the one on the right, which is our triathlon. The only difference is on the left, you have deep benches because it's best ball that starts in February. And then on the right, you have the triathlon, which is our most recent drafts. So we're not going to comb through all of it, but I did want to highlight all the way down at the bottom. We have Justin Fields right here showing up at an ADP of 9.1. So the first pick in the 9th round for the early drafts, and for the later drafts in the triathlon, he's going at 6.1. So the 6th one. So he moved up 3 rounds, and we're talking about the quarterback 4, 5. So those of you who took a chance on Justin Fields, your rosters are looking pretty nice right now. I know I have him in a couple of leagues. Even further down that list, we have Aaron Rodgers coming in at 13.3 in the way too early best ball. That's an ADP of 146. Shout out to Sticky, by the way. This is pretty cool to be able to go through this. And he is still one of the bottom dwellers, but he's coming in at 9.8 as far as the triathlon or the gauntlet leagues. So for the ADP tool, you can come search by RB, receiver, tight end, kicker. I don't know why kicker's there. We can kick that out. So that's a pretty cool tool. We're not going to do that for all of these positions, but coming up at the top 5 running backs, we have Derrick Henry, Bijan, CMC, James Cook, and the only surprise here is Javonte Williams coming in with 20.4 as RB5, and behind him, Trevor Etienne. So not everybody was taking a shot on Etienne. I know a lot of you were high on Bigsby, and now he's got a 0 value on sleeper. So that's pretty brutal. The biggest surprise, I believe, is receiver, and receiver is volatile as it is. So I know personally, I was taking RB early, first 3 rounds. I tried to take 2 RBs, and then try to hem up that quarterback room, and then take shot at receiver. Unfortunately, the receiver 1 from week 1, Zay Flowers, was not one of the people that I came after. But behind him, Keon Coleman with 25 points is somebody that I took a lot of stock of. And even more so, coming in third, Quentin Johnson. Who had that on their bingo card, right? And then here's one for Jimmy. Emeka Ebuka is coming in at number 4 with 23 points. Spectacular performance. And I think I heard that he was only on the field for like 51% of snaps. So you're talking about a nice upward trajectory for that guy. And then Puka Nacua, one of the earliest receivers taken in ADP. He's coming in at number 5. And then it gets to Debo, Garrett Wilson, Michael Pittman, Hollywood Brown, and a blast from the past, Keenan Allen. So wild week if you're an early RB or early quarterback person. If you're taking Josh Allen with that 101 instead of Jamar Chase, it paid off for you in week 1. Wasn't too crazy, but there was a lot of upsets. I know for myself, one of the people I had in most of my roster leagues was Xavier Worthy. So getting that bad beat on Friday, and then friendly fire, that was a pretty hard pill to swallow, and a lot of my squads didn't recover from it. But some did. So thank you, Quentin Johnson. So that's all we're going to do for the recap there. So the main segment we're going to do here is going to be our actual update. And we are going to go ahead and bring up this nice, pretty little slide that I prepared here. Our Ballsville update. And this is going to be our highest scores for week 1. This is, again, thanks to Mr. Sticky Picky for the tools, because it was nice to go through and see these stunning visuals. So game number 1, the Dynasty game. Our highest score for the week is 207, and that's Solo Haven. Coming out of Yu-Gi-Oh! For the Heroes of Dynasty. For the Dragons of Dynasty, we have Zach Wilson fan. I don't know if that's still true, but that's still his name. Coming in from Alduin with 196 points. These are all scoreboards that you can go onto the website and check out. When we put stuff behind the paywall for the tools, we're going to keep the scoreboards active and available for free, just because they're so useful for you guys. You go in, it takes a data update, but you go in and you can look at all the scores. And then in the playoff weeks, anybody that beats you, you'll be able to go into their league and verify that they scored that. And it's the same settings, it's the same scoring, all that stuff we take into account, full transparency. Nobody's going to have to question anything. We're going to look at Solo Haven's roster that scored these points. He started with Jaden Daniels and Josh Allen at quarterback. He had Derrick Henry, Ashton Genty at running back. For his receivers, he had Emeka Ebuka, Malik Neighbors, A.J. Brown, Marvin Harrison, and Puka Nacua. So that's a pretty decent squad there, with A.J. Brown taking a dump at 1.8, and he still managed to score the highest for the Heroes. And tight end Trey McBride. So that was another hard one, was the George Kittle injury, right? So Solo Haven for the Heroes, Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry again, Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, Debo, George Kittle, CMC, Saquon, and Aaron Rodgers, bringing up that total. So great job, guys. Good luck. I hope you sustain it. For the mini leagues, our very own Sarah, M21, with 211 points, coming out of Spyro's Pride League 202. And for Sarah's roster, we have Josh Allen, J.K. Dobbins, Kenneth Walker, Keon Coleman, Quentin Johnson, there he is, Garrett Wilson, Dalton Schultz at tight end. Wow, cool. Hope you have a better tight end there. Michael Pittman, Cedric Tillman, and Aaron Rodgers. So not bad, not bad. We're going to have to talk about what we think about Cedric Tillman in the future. I think that's a pretty interesting name to go over right now. For the big game, K. Page, I have no idea who that is. He might be in one league, but he scored a whopping total of 245 points. And this is 10-team best ball. This is our only 10-team game. That's why the scores are a little elevated here. Chiefs Life on there. Not Ron DeSantis, one of my favorite names. Coda Bear Prubal. Chiefs Life again. Sorry for cussing, our friend Chris. Rio the Great. JoJo and TB. There's TB again. So These names will vary. Everybody should keep an eye out for their own. You really should be taking advantage of that scoreboard setting. It's really cool. This is just screenshots off of that. So for K Page, he has Josh Allen, Derrick Henry, James Cook, Zay Flowers, Keon Coleman, Puka Nacua, Sam Laporta, Javonte Williams, Hollywood Brown. It breaks my heart because that should be Xavier Worthy's points, and Kyler Murray, and a pretty decent bench over there too. For the redraft game, another one for Solo Haven. So this person drafted pretty well. I see my name at number 6. Break Val 2, Robert Kelly 3. He's a new friend. He's actually been very active in the redraft portion. Found us a little late, but seems to be really active. So maybe we'll be reaching out to some of the more active players, in the off season early when we do our dynasty expansion leagues. We'll talk about that at some point. Grim Darkness, our friend Sam, coming up at number 8. And look, there's Todd Barber again. So for this, he has Josh Allen, Josh Jacobs, Alvin Kamara, Jacoby Myers, Deebo Samuel, Michael Pittman, Trey McBride, James Conner, J.K. Dobbins, and Justin Fields. So it seems like he set the ideal lineup other than leaving Quentin Johnson on his bench. Great job to Solo Haven, coming in number 1 in 2 different games. The Gauntlet. And on the scoreboard, you can see right here at the top of this clip, it tells you a total of 2,318 teams drafted for this game. 407 unique owners, which is highly impressive. Number 1, Todd Barber and Apollo. DJ Ethan at number 2 and 3. Good job, Ethan. The Benninators, number 4. Cheeky Hobson, a good friend of the game, at number 5. I seem to have cut off number 6. Awesome. I bet it wasn't me. Number 7, Todd Barber again. Then a guy named Porg, 1982. Artful Dodger, our friend JoJo at number 10, and Fantasy Fetish. Cool name, man. Coming in at number 11. And Todd Barber's roster. Again, these are smaller rosters, only 2 wide receivers and 1 flex. Those rosters expand during the guillotine portion of the game. If you want more on the Gauntlet and how that operates, check out the show I did on Monday with Chris. Thanks again, Chris, for being with me. But it was a fun show, but that is specifically going over the Gauntlet game because there's so much to go over for that game. It's so complex that we like to kind of give it its own spot. We are doing it during the halftime of Monday night, which adds like a rushing element, but we'll start the stream going into the half. That way we can kind of recap what we're watching on the game. And then the playoff weeks, it's going to get real exciting because we'll be able to isolate matchups that are still being played and determined by the second half of Monday Night Football that have huge implications on playoff weeks. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And that is the Ballsville update, and we're gonna do a version of that a little bit smoother in the future. Other than that, guys, the goal is to jump on, jump off. This was a 23-minute show, 20 minutes, pretty cool, short and sweet. We're gonna do a little pre-gaming before kickoff. Hopefully, you guys all set your lineup, and hopefully nobody jumped on the out list for tonight's game because I have 27 managing leagues to go and sort through. So thanks again, everybody, for joining. We're supposed to have Dynastyville tomorrow, but Connor has been really under the weather. So I'm not sure if that's going to happen. But if not, we'll see you again for the Gauntlet recap on Monday. Good luck in week 2. We'll be keeping an eye on you and anything remarkable that might happen in your leagues because we can't be everywhere. Go ahead and share it in the Discord under the Ballsville update portion. I'll come and check it out, check out the backstory, and we'll go over it and just keep everything cool in the Discord, code of conduct, all that good stuff. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night and good luck.